Hey, it's WIcks from SSW here. I'm here with McCrabb from Flametree Cyber, and we're talking, I think, the fact that CyberSec has so many TLAs. So for 2 or 3 letter acronyms,
Yes.
maybe 20, who knows?
I've not seen a 20, but I wouldn't put it past us. Actually, government have some fantastic acronyms for their various departments, and that can be quite amusing at times when you see them come through.
Because there was one, so we were talking about incident response, and I'm like, you went IR, and I'm like, I'm thinking infrared, but it was incident response. And then what we were talking a bit before about your favorite
Cyber phrase.
Yeah.
So the lexicon that we use in cybersecurity, which makes no sense to anyone outside of cyber. And my very favorite run was Wizard Spider exploits Poodle, which made sense to me when I read it.
Okay, so what does it actually mean?
So Wizard Spider is a threat actor, a criminal group, and they were exploiting Poodle, which is the print spoodle, which is just a function that exists on Windows machines, and they were using that exploitation of Poodle to further compromise systems.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wizard Spider. Yeah.
Yes.
Funny name.
I didn't come up with it.
So you deal a lot with cybersecurity incidents. Is it predominantly like planning beforehand, or are you coming in after stuff has already hit the fan?
Yeah, I deal more in the preparation space. So getting the incident response plans up and running, building playbooks, training teams in how to build their own playbooks so that when they're building new systems, they can make sure that the same protections they have on historic systems are applied to new ones. Testing playbooks to make sure that the processes that we've created are actually effective, and refining them, because that continuous improvement is important. And then working with teams and organisations on how they can train their teams and build resilience across other aspects of the organisation, so that what they've built with my help is never lost.
Okay. And are there any times when you just have to take the playbook and throw it out the window, or is it gospel for them that they must follow, they must follow dogmatically?
Yeah, no, there's always nuance, and you can't create playbooks that cover every scenario for every system. It's just wouldn't be possible. But if you create your incident response plan at a high enough level that it is repeatable, then yes, you can ignore the playbook, throw it out the door, and go back to the incident response plan and still achieve a good outcome for the organisation.
Okay. And are these the types of things that are required? Like, I know a lot of companies, when they want to sell into like American organizations, they need like SOC2 compliance or ISO 27001. Does this tie into those frameworks?
Yeah, it does actually. A lot of the frameworks and standards, they will say thou shalt have, thou shalt test your incident response processes, and tabletops and simulations are a great way of doing that. So they're getting some real actionable learnings and advice, and that continuous improvement piece, but also maintaining compliance with whatever standard they need.
So sorry, I just want to unpack that. You said tabletops, and I'm thinking tabletop like you're playing a game on a board.
Sometimes, no, that's just another phrase, not a TLA, but
yeah. So what is that? If we unpack that, what does that mean?
Yeah, it's another way of simulating an incident. So you've got the tabletop scenario, which is we all sit down and we talk through a scenario and what we do in certain situations. Or you might do red-blue teaming, which is where you've got a simulated attack and you've got the defenders that are protecting the system from that simulated attack. I like a combination of them actually, where you get the executive in a room and you talk about what would happen whilst the technical simulation is occurring, and you can test the executive's response to that technical event.
Do they know it's happening, or are they?
Yeah, typically, yeah. I mean, you can do both.
Yeah.
But it's not much nicer if they know it's coming.
Obviously, yeah. So these would be in the playbooks as well, that you'd be essentially, like in the same way that we do fire drills and fire alarms, you'd be having that for your not just your application like security, but the organization, how the organization itself deals with incidents.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, A super common scenario is the ransomware piece, because that gives you an opportunity to test how well the organization knows their regulations and their legislative environment and how well they do that reporting. And so I actually find that's the most common scenario that organizations want to test. But you can refine the scenario to their particular tech stack, or I like to look at the MITRE ATT&CK framework and choose simulate an incident that would actually be effective within their environment, and go, so you've got this particular exploit that was picked up in testing a few months ago, and we're going to see that through to fruition. This is the simulated outcome. How are you responding to that as an organization?
Okay. And I mean, obviously different size companies would deal with that differently.
Yeah.
If you were, I don't know, it's a bit glib, but if there was like, you know, the number one thing that you'd want to see in an organization, that, or a top 3 things that if they wanted to improve their posture, what would be the things to try to do?
I love working on the stakeholder engagement piece.
Yeah.
Because your stakeholders are there's always a bit of churn in people, and no one stays in a job forever.
Yep.
And so really refining who your stakeholders are when they're engaged, what needs to be communicated to them and when, what their responsibilities are, that would probably be number one. The next thing would be really tightly defining the classifications of incident. So what constitutes critical, what's high, what's medium, what's low, and that is really the crux of how you build processes, is based around that classification.
Yep.
And the next thing I'd start looking at is really ensuring that you've got a process around your regulatory reporting, because if anything's going to have a really significant impact on your bottom line, it's that regulations piece.
So if it's going to affect the directors of the company's houses and things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, they're obviously, they'd be motivated to ensure that's the case.
I would, yeah.
So it's not specifically, like, you've mentioned a few things about classifying and just understanding how different things sit, and it's not straight away, hey, we need to put a WAF in place or this in place. It's not action. It's just it's planning. You know, from the sounds of it, it's that whole. It's not if this will happen, it's when this will happen.
It absolutely is. And the things that I've outlined are cost neutral. And so any organisation with a bit of will and engagement and buy-in should be able to achieve those 3 things without spending much money. They'll pay off in dividends. If you look at some of the post-incident reviews that have been made public, if you look at Gartner publications, those 3 things I've mentioned sort of come up really consistently in incident response reviews that have happened in Australia over time. So I feel that there's opportunity for improvement there for most organisations if they're consistently reported as being underdeveloped.
Okay, cool. And then from there, you obviously would build out the different, how you handle different scenarios, but at least you've identified and you can put them into like contextualized thing.
Yeah, and then those things are fundamental to any incident type. So you've already got a really good understanding of, well, if something happens, we might not have a process documented, but we know who we need to have in the room.
Okay, yeah. Awesome. Well, this has been great chatting with you.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Thanks for talking about spider monkey exploit Poodle.
Wizard spider.
Wizard spider.
Thank you.
Thanks. This is Matt Wicks from SSW signing off. Thanks.